In this video, I'm going to run a correlation test using a set of SPSS data that you can see that I've pulled up already, that I obtained from the Youth Risk Behavioral Surveys, middle schools, Guilford County students. The research question that I'm using here is there a relationship between the number of days per week a Guilford Middle School student walks or bikes to school and the number of times they skip or eat breakfast? Before I conduct the correlation test, we need to make sure that the question qualifies for a correlation test. And we know that for a correlation to occur, there has to be two ratio or interval variables in the question within the question. So now let's see if there is our ratio or interval question variables. The number of days per week a student walks or bikes to school can range from 0 to 100, which is a specific number with a specific value and a real zero, therefore it is a ratio variable. And the number of times they skipped or ate breakfast can also range from 0 to 100, being a specific value and a specific variable and a real zero. So both these variables are a ratio. Now that we know that the question qualifies for a correlation, we can go ahead and conduct the analysis. So we go to Analyze, Correlate, and Bivariate. And as we can see, question 57 is during fast, how many days did you eat breakfast? And question 63 is how many days per week did you bike or walk to school? So both these questions are under the variables, and we just hit OK. And this is the table that we need. So this table shows the number of students that answered during the past 7 days. How many students ate breakfast? It's 2,631 students, and the number of students that usually walk or ride to school is 2,607. But the students who answered both the questions are 2,583 students. And now, in order to see the correlation, we look at the significance two-tail, which is the p-value. A p-value less than 0.05 tells us that there's a significant relationship, and a p-value more than 0.05 tells us there is no significant relationship. Since the p-value here is 0.255, which is greater than 0.05, we can say that there is no statistical significant relationship between these two groups. Therefore, which means that the number of days per week a student walks or bikes to school has nothing to do with whether or not the student eats or skips breakfast. But however, therefore, we accept the null hypothesis and reject our research question. However, if the value is statistically significant, then we would look at whether or not it has a positive or negative correlation. Perfect correlation is ranges from +1 to -1, and so since this value is -0.022, if there was a significant relationship, it would have been a negative significant correlation between these two groups. However, since there is no significant relationship, we cannot conclude that, and we accept the null hypothesis. Therefore, this is how we conduct a correlation test.